Before I begin, I want to give you this analogy. Let's say that you were going to a movie and you were running late because you couldn't find your wallet. You hit every light there was to hit on the way there, and you couldn't sit down without a drink. So you get your drink, you get into the movie theater, and you were 20 minutes late to this movie. So you're late. You've missed 20 minutes of the beginning of the movie and the plot and all that good old stuff. But you figure, you know what? I can figure it out. It's okay. I'm still going to enjoy the evening. So you start drinking your drink. About 30 minutes in, you say, I got to go to the bathroom. I can't hold it. You go to the bathroom. It takes you 5 to 7 minutes to go in and out. Of course, you wash your hands. You come back in, and you don't know what happened that 5-7 minutes that you were gone, but you figure again, I'm pretty sure I can figure it out. You keep drinking your drink, and 10 minutes in, you can start to feel the urge, but you're like, I should be good. 20 minutes in, you're like, okay, I'm starting to really feel like I might need to use the bathroom, but I really don't want to get up again. 10 more minutes go by, and you're like, I got to go to the bathroom. So you get up, you go to the bathroom, and that takes another 5 to 7 minutes. Let's say that you do this about 3 or 4 different times. And on the last time you walk into the movie theater, you're now almost at the end of the movie, and you see a guy angry, and he's pointing the gun, and he's shouting, and he's screaming, and you're just trying to get back to your seat and figure out, oh my gosh, what did I miss, right? That's the first question you're going to think. What did I miss? Why is he angry? Why is he holding the gun? Was he kidnapped? Is his daughter kidnapped? Is he the criminal? Is he the antagonist or the protagonist? I can't figure it out because you've missed so much of the story. So without the full story, you can't really form a complete opinion on the movie when everyone else sees it and it's at the end, like the credits are rolling. Everybody's like, oh man, or they clap, or everybody has a reaction. You're still sitting there in question, like what happened? Why was he mad? Where did the gun come from? Where did the little girl go? You still have so many different questions, and it would be hard for you to form an opinion based on how much you missed. And that is the way that I look at Black history. I think there's a lot of things that we have missed in Black history, and we have a lot of people trying to figure out, well, why are Black people mad or angry? What is the problem? Is there really an issue? Because we're all struggling. You know, the Latinos are struggling, white people are struggling, everybody's struggling. So what's the Black person got to complain about? Why is he holding the gun? Right? I think it's hard for us to really form. I can't say it's hard because we can all form an opinion no matter how much information we have. It's hard to form a complete opinion without a complete story. So when we come into Black history, we are coming into Black history as if we're coming into the movie theater 20 minutes late. The way that public education approaches Black history is they come in at slavery. That is not the starting point of Black history. I would even also argue that even the starting point that I would like to begin at is really not the starting point of Black history. But for the sake of getting a fuller picture, at least to some degree, I have a recommendation for how I think Black history should be taught. Let me clarify first. Again, I have a public school education, and I transferred how I was taught to my kids initially until my own journey quickened my curiosity, and then I began to research and do things in a different order. Now that I take a look back, it's kind of take a step away from the information. Oh, man, I wish I would have taught it this way. So here are my thoughts as it relates to how I think Black history should be taught. So I would say start with Africa, the events leading up to slavery, Jim Crow, and there's this gap because we usually go straight to civil rights. There's a gap between slavery and civil rights. Right in here is right after the slaves were freed on paper, there was still a lot of hardship and struggle because though they were freed by shackles, they had been trained and groomed for slavery here. So there were a lot of psychological chains that still were not set free. And there was very little understanding and even help for how to guide that. So that you have that in-between space here. Then you have civil rights. And then if I had a sixth finger, that would be current events or family stories / current events. So let me break these down and start to give you the resources for each one. So for teaching about Africa, medieval times, Africa, I would recommend looking up these 3 empires as your starting point: Mali, Songhai, and Ghana. Within those empires, you may hear someone named Mansa Musa, another individual worth looking up. When you look for these things, if you're teaching a young child, you could go to Teachers Pay Teachers, and they will have unit studies. They will have things that, geography and, listing dates and all the things that you would need. You wouldn't even have to put it together. There is one that is available that is there that addresses those 3 empires, Songhai, Mali, and Ghana. And that one's only $26. And they also have a bigger package that you could purchase. And I think it's like Africa Unit Studies, and they go over various aspects in areas of Africa. And I think that one might be about $61. But if you're working, and I think the curriculum is not really a full curriculum, but I think this unit study it's elementary all the way through high school. So you can use that all the way up through high school. And this was really fun for my kids. They really enjoyed this. It was a rap, and it's called Medieval West Africa Black History Rap. That's on YouTube. So I liked it, and I think your kids would like it too. It relates to the kids. It's the lyrics. It has a cartoon that goes along with it, and it's something that it'll help them remember that unit study on Africa. All right. So second is the events leading up to slavery. One of my favorite book series for history is Story of the World, and this year we did volume 3, Early Modern Times, and this does go over what was going on in the whole world at the same time. That's why I love Story of the World, and like this and Mystery of History. But Story of the World volume 3, it leads up to that time of what was happening in America or what was happening in Europe. So all the events that collectively come together to the point of making the decision of saying we need free labor. So what it also goes over, not just we need free labor, chapter 9 here, which is one of my favorite chapters, is about Queen Zynga of Angola. So that's someone else that you'll want to look up. If you don't want to buy the whole book, you can look up Queen Zynga of Angola. Let me see if I can find her here. I should have had her bookmarked. But she fought the Portuguese. I won't give the whole thing away. I want you guys to look this stuff up yourself and enjoy the stories. I don't want to spoil it for you, like spoiling a good movie or anything like that. But she fought for her people. At first, they were trading them equally, but that's Queen Zynga. Okay. Her name is Nzinga, in case you're curious. And she was like this warrior. If you've ever watched Wakanda, she was like one of the female warriors in a sense. So she went there to defend her people and to defend her country. So good story. So that's events leading up to slavery. And then, of course, we have slavery and the abolishment or the abolition of slavery. And here is a good place to highlight Frederick Douglass and Harriet Tubman. I think that the Who Was series does a really good job of going in depth enough and age appropriate enough for the kids to be able to understand who these individuals were, what their tragedy was, what their triumph was. This is also a good point where you don't, and this was my point even to my own kids, I didn't just highlight Black heroes during this time. I also looked for other people who fought for the cause, non-Black people, because what I wanted to show my kids was the unity, the things that you can accomplish on a unified front, and to be thankful for all people because of the heart and the spirit that they are. I tell my kids, ignorance does not have a color, and neither does character. So no one has a moral high ground, or no one is morally supreme than another person based on their color and their culture. And that is more of an individual thing. You have to choose that for yourself. And so we celebrate not just Harriet Tubman's and Frederick Douglass's, but we also look and we can celebrate the non-black counterparts that also had a huge part to play in freedom, abolition, civil rights, and things like that. Now, my kids might not be able to rattle off to you the names of the people and the dates. What I want my kids to understand is the unity. What I want my kids to understand is the oneness. What I want my kids to see is what man has the ability to do apart from God, but what man also has the ability to do in conjunction and in partnership with God. And that if we partner with God and other people are partnering with God, look at what we can do.